Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
So I'm on my way to another rental house. I've got another pipe that's leaking. The good thing about it, it doesn't look to be too bad, and it's pretty scenic. You know, if you've seen the montage there, if you will. The downside to this one is I've got another one that I need to go to after, and it kind of sucks. There's climbing under houses and, you know, trying to turn the water on, see where the leak actually is, and my help bailed on me. Yeah, my son, he evidently Tom Clancy or somebody of that caliber needed his assistance today. I guess the life of a gamer. So now I'm on my own with this one. I guess he had to see what Siege was about today. He gave him a new computer. He actually bought him a new gaming system. The last thing he's got to get is the actual wheel. It's going to get a Assetto Corsa or whatever it is. It's supposed to be fairly realistic drifting or whatever. So if you want to get into drifting, that's something you could, if you're a gamer, Assetto Corsa, which if you've already been into gaming, you know what that is. Evidently that's the go-to game to kind of get your feet wet with drifting. You can get the handbrake, you can get some pretty extreme setups. But yeah, if you want to get into some drifting and you don't know how, I'm going to sit down one day this week and do if I were to get into drifting, what would I need to know entry level? And it's from our perspective, it's not set in stone any perfect way of starting drifting. I guess it's going to be the Chesser Motorsports way of getting into drifting. It's going to be one of those where this is how we done it, and if we could do it any different, what would we have done, and what would we suggest to anybody that's going to get into drifting, kind of thing. So Yeah, that's going to be something I'm working on this week. I'm always working on something. Yeah, but heading to another rental, working on some more leaks. All right, here we go. Okay, so today I was on the phone with Wiring Specialties, and as far as the ECU, they said I could use the 1J ECU, and I could use the 1J mass airflow. I just had to depin their plug and repin it to actually compensate for the 1J mass airflow. They said it would work, it's just pinned differently. So they emailed me an actual photo of the new pin out. So I'm gonna try that. I just put the valve covers back on. I did go ahead and pull the valve cover gaskets and change those. They were leaking, so I might as well, while I had to pull the intake off and all that, just to check everything. And so I decided to go ahead and to just change the valve covers and go through some stuff while I'm here. I'm gonna check the injectors and depin that, then pin it back correctly, you know, to work with the 1J ECU. And we'll put it all back together and we will see what we come up with. Maybe that's the fix. You can see I've got it apart. I did both valve cover gaskets. I've got my little kit to do my depinning on the plug. This is the pin out of the plug. So once I change that or whatever, I don't know if I can get it to focus. That light kind of clashes with it. But I can depin that and get that ready to go back. And maybe that's the fix. I really don't know. We'll try it. But evidently what they're telling me, this ideally was made for an Aristo ECU to plug in and to use an Aristo mass airflow. Well, instead of having to buy that stuff, I have the 1J ECU. I'm not going to need it for anything else because the 1J I have the EMU black for the S13. So might as well make that stuff work if I can, and that's why they sent me the pin out to be able to change that. So they sent that and they want me to change it, so that way I don't have to send it back. I figured that would be easier too. So let's do that. Let's see what we come up with, and hopefully that's our fix. So, all right, here we go. All right, so we got the mass airflow repinned. I think the battery's about dead, but we're gonna try it anyway. Still ain't changed the starter. Ow. All right, so let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's dead. So we'll let it charge a minute and then we'll give it a go and see what we can come up with here. So, all right, here we go. All right, so I did depin the mass airflow plug, and then I repinned it the way they showed me. They sent me that video, or not video, but a photo on the email. It ran worse. So I repinned it back to where I was at, and I had noticed one of the exhaust pipes hadn't burnt off the other day. I noticed that it hadn't burnt off like the other ones. So I went ahead and pulled the fuel rail off while I had all the intake stuff off doing the valve cover gaskets. And I changed an injector. That injector wasn't working. I did change one injector. I've been playing with the fuel pressure a little bit. It revs good and throttles good. I've got some exhaust coming. I'm going to put that exhaust pipe on. And I do have a water leak. I've got to take this one piece back off again. I don't know if it's bent or something. It's the water neck piece or whatever. I've got to pull it off. And it could be a combination of bad gas. I may end up changing another injector or two. It's the 1J ECU, the 1J mass airflow. And it still could be, the pin could be off. It could still be that, just a different orientation than the way it came. They told me to use the 240 engine coolant plug for the gauge. It doesn't plug, so it's not that. I did order the other one for MK4 Supra. It should have been an AutoZone today. I don't know why I didn't think to get it. I'm still not done with this thing. It's running bad, but I could almost attribute that to I can almost blame it on possibly bad gas, where this thing's been sitting with, you know, the gas in it for a year or whatever. And I didn't really drive it that much to start with, you know, so it could definitely be, you know, relevant to that. So I'm gonna pretty much spend my time on fixing this water leak if I can, and probably wiring the fans up, which I should have already done that. That's where I'm gonna spend some time. So that's where I'm at. I haven't gained any ground on this thing. Another day fooling with this thing. I've played around with the fuel pressure a little more. It should be sitting on 42 pounds. That should be what stock is on this thing. I'm gonna confirm that, make sure. I should probably see what a 1J's factory fuel pressure is, because I'm running a 1J ECU. That may be what I need to do. I may be wrong on the fuel pressure, but it is a 1JZ GE or GTE BBTI ECU, so it should run the BBTI and everything. It should run everything. So I've got to remedy that. I've got to figure out what has to happen. I called Wiring Specialties and I told them I'm throwing my hands up here. Y'all gotta help me here. I'm looking for a lifeline. And they didn't really, I don't even want to say all this, but they didn't really help me any. They haven't helped me any to this point. I don't know what I need to do. I've just been guessing. I bought computers I don't need. I bought sensors I don't need. I don't know. I want to be positive and talk nothing but great things to them and about them, and I don't know. I probably shouldn't be saying any of that, but that's the case. That is exactly the case. I've had nothing but problems since day one on this harness. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I didn't know anything. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. Kind of spitballing here with this. I don't know. I don't have a clue. I'm guessing at this point. I'm guessing what ECU. I'm guessing everything. What plugs, what everything. I'm guessing everything. You know, I'm trying to thumb through like if you were troubleshooting a car. You know, everything. I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't have a clue. So I'm gonna wait on the exhaust. Get that buttoned up. Finish the wiring for the fans, which I should have already done. But it does run better. It does throttle up. It runs cleaner. It runs smoother. It still almost goes into like a limp mode, and it's like you hit the throttle and then it just like completely, it just fades out. You let off the throttle and hit it again, it might rev up great. I really don't know. I don't know. Maybe throw some more grounds on it, try something there. Go through these fuel injectors some more. I really don't know. It is running a little rich, so I do need to change the oil and probably turn down the fuel pressure a little more. I've turned it up, turned it down, kind of finding that sweet spot. Alright, so I'm gonna call it a day. We're to the end of whatever we were doing here today. We did get that on jack stands. I did order the plug wires. This thing, we'll get back to it. Gotta finish this. I've even debated on, I've been thinking of this. I may just go ahead and get that thing where it's running, not leaking, wire the fans in, just back it out and start working on something else for a minute, because this thing's, it's worn me out, this whole S14 chassis, and that gives me a chance. I'm gonna turbo my son's IS300, so that's coming, and we're gonna finish this one, probably sell it. And my son's Civic messed up where it won't crank, so I gotta figure out what's wrong with it. And a couple other things. If you will, like, subscribe, share. If you follow us and you hang in there with our videos and you've been a faithful follower and you haven't subscribed yet, let me tell you, that's the money maker. So once we hit that 1,000 subscribers, we can finance better projects. We can get away from the cheap stuff, start moving forward. Eventually some of the rentals will be paid for and we're gonna get away from it anyway, but what I got's what I got to spend and to do. I don't have a lot of help right now either, so hang in there with me. We'll get to a better spot. This is just a down, slow time. This 240 is just, it's laying in here on me, man. It's one of those I'm having trouble just getting it figured out. And if it was something simple, if it was, you know, not getting fire or fuel or this or that, you know, I could figure that out. But I've got aftermarket harnesses. I don't know which ECU. I don't know which. Half the stuff I don't even know what it is or what it goes to. So just hang in there with us. Yeah, thanks for watching the ones that do, and I know they're getting slow, and we'll get picked back up on some better videos and some drifting stuff here soon, which there's some guys that we drift with are going this weekend, so we may go back into that, but we are turboing the IS300. That's pretty soon, if I can get this thing out of my face, and then that IS300, we're going to finish it up, try to put it out for sale. Maybe I may drive it a little bit, I don't know just yet, just to, you know, just because I have it. And then we'll get back on the S13, but we are going to turbo both IS300s that will be turbo, and they will be tuned. And I've got to put a handbrake in mine and angle kit on mine as well. So yeah, thanks for watching the videos, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know the routine. Thank you guys for everything, and I'm sorry again. I can't stress it enough. I am sorry for the slow videos. So, all right, here we go.
I'm feeling high.